Hello students, how are you? I think all of you are doing fine. And what are you doing? How are you enjoying your lockdown holidays? I hope this video finds you in a very good health and great spirits. And let me congratulate you for you have reached a new academic year, and maybe we will not be able to start the classroom instruction uh, in in the near future of about 2 or 3 months. So we are going to start our video lessons. So I am going to reach you through YouTube lessons every day, and we are going to meet like this for the English class. Okay, I will send the link to you every day, and you have to uh, through the link you have to read the lesson or listen to the lesson. No problem, this will be get habituated for all the students, because there is no hope for the regular traditional academic teaching, classroom teaching in this new academic year. So let us start with our new lesson, first lesson, that is for the third semester students. For the third semester students, the first lesson is The Touch by Abburi Chaya Devi. What is the name of the lesson? The Touch by Abburi Chaya Devi. So this is a very simple lesson of about 2 or 3 pages. Actually, this lesson is an original Telugu story written by Abburi Chaya Devi, and it was translated into English by Jayashree Mohan Raj. Okay, if you find in some good bookstore or in online stores, you may find the original Telugu version of this story also. Okay, but let us read this English translation of the story The Touch by Abburi Chaya Devi. So bear with me and give me some time so that I can read the lesson for you. Okay, if you have good headphones, use the headphones and let me read the lesson for you. Okay, if you have textbook of third semester, please keep it with you, open it and read along with me. So because reading is very important aspect in learning English, so be very cautious, very careful and read along with me. Those who don't have textbooks, please listen to me, give your ears to me. Okay, let me read the entire lesson. Okay, it will not take more than 5 minutes, so please read with me. When I arrived, I found father lying out in the string cot, facing the wall. I had left my slippers outside on the threshold, so my footsteps did not give away my presence. I went right up to the cot and asked, "Are you asleep?" "Who is it?" he asked and turned his side. "It is I replied. "Come sit here," he said, continuing to lie stretched out. Where he heard me pulling the steel chair and preparing to sit down, he asked, "Why do you want to sit so far away? Come and sit close to me." He sat up to make space for me, patting the place on the next to him. I sat on the edge of the cot. So what is going on in this lesson? So there is a daughter, a married daughter, and she came to visit her old and ill father, bedridden father. The father is bedridden and the daughter, who is married, came to visit his bedridden father. So how is the situation of the father? He is unable to get up from the bed. Very old, maybe very sick. So he is unable to get up from the bed. So when she came, sometime maybe he is also partially blind. He could not see who has come to visit him. So when she came, daughter, he is asking, who is it? Because he is unable to see. Maybe he is partially blind. So daughter responds, it is me. I am your daughter. Okay, let me complete the lesson reading first, then we'll go into the explanation. So basically the story is between a father and a daughter and her husband. These are three characters. Okay, so let me see this. So before reading that, I will tell you about Abburi Chaya Devi. So Abburi Chaya Devi is a well-known Telugu fiction writer. She won Sahitya Akademi Award for her book Tara Margam. Most of her stories deal with women and their problems. Through her stories, she criticizes patriarchy. Patriarchy means the dominance of male in society. So in this story also, subtly she tries to criticize patriarchy, the ways in which the patriarchal society or male dominant society tries to subjugate, marginalize and suppress the women and their voice. Okay, let me complete the entire reading first. Groping, father patted me on the back. Then he felt the place next to him on the cot and said, "Sit comfortably, Amma." So the father is asking the daughter to sit down on the cot. Where? Not on the chair, but on the cot beside him. Okay, note this. I shifted a little, making myself comfortable. Though she wants to sit, but somehow she is uncomfortable to sit on the cot. We'll know after some time what has happened. He groped the air in front of him, gripped my hand, held it both in his hands and said, "I've been looking for your visit. Is everyone all right?" So the father is, as I told you, is partially blind. He is groping in the air to find his daughter. At last he caught her hand and with love and affection she is asking her, "How are you? How are your family members?" She is asking about her whereabouts. Okay. "Yes," I said softly. He didn't say anything else and silently stroked my hand. Once, as a teenager, we had to go somewhere in the rickshaw. Though the rickshaw was spacious, I sat huddled at the far end. So again, now the daughter, she recollects her past, her childhood. How was her father in the childhood? How he would behave with her? What kind of behavior was he expressing in when she was child? "Sit properly, Amma, you'll fall off," father had said. I had hesitated and moved just an inch closer to him. So now, in the old age, he wants his daughter to come close. He wants to hold her hand. He wants her to comfort him. He wants her to show some love and affection. But now she is hesitant. She is not properly in the right way sitting on the cot because there is some reason that she is doing. It is not lack of love, but there is some other reason. From the time I had learned my first letters of the alphabet, father had kept me at a distance in the name of discipline and because of Madi, his orthodox way of life. So this story is about a Brahmin family, a Brahmin father and his Brahmin daughter. So the father was, when she was a child, was very orthodox. He was always performing pujas and he was always in muddy. You know muddy, the wet cloths the Brahmins wear when they are performing puja. During the puja, they do not touch anybody, not even his daughter or son. So in that way, he was always orthodox. He would not let anybody touch him, not even his daughters. So all the people, especially this girl, the daughter was very scared of going near him, leave alone touching. I had always felt he was in the state of ritual purity. I was used to slipping into my cocoon. So how could I even think of sitting close to him in the rickshaw or bodies touching? When the children return from home, if you embrace them lovingly and casually, question them, they open up and chirp like happy birds. Instead, if they are greeted harshly at the threshold with how much did you score in the mass or have you brought your report card, they die of fright. I died many such deaths over some 20 years. I still haven't got over the difference that created. So in the childhood, the way childhood which the daughter is talking about, there is not very cordial relationship or loving relationship between the father and the daughter. The father always was very strict. His way of parenting was orthodox, very traditional. He would never take his child into his lap or never he would touch her. She was always kept at a distance. You see, now this old man, the old father, after all these years, he is longing for the love and affection of his daughter through her touch. He wants the assurance of love from her through holding her hand by touch. Okay. But in those days, in previous days, when he was healthy, when he was young, he was very orthodox. He would not let his daughter touch him, nor he would take her into his arms. Father is over 80 now, past the age of recovering his sight, even if eyes were to be operated upon. Though he is otherwise healthy, his poor sight has made him weak. He has spent the last 2 years in bed. So the father is very weak, as I said earlier. He cannot see properly. He is always bedridden. Now he wants someone to take care of him. Maybe it is his daughter he wants to take care of him. He wants someone. Now it is his daughter. Because he has no power, no energy, nothing left in him. No, so he is not thinking of his orthodox ways. Now he is at the mercy of his daughter and her husband. My husband and I had come to town on hearing that my mother-in-law was not well, to spend time with her. So why did she come to visit her father? Not because he is ill, because her mother-in-law was ill. Because her mother-in-law was ill, she came to this town from the place where she works, where and her husband works. So she did not come here to actually she did not come here to see his father. She came to visit her mother-in-laws who are suffering from some mild fever. So after coming to her mother-in-law's home, she took permission from them. You see, she took permission from them, and then she came to visit her father. And her husband and her in-laws gave her some strict instructions what to follow during her visit to her father. Okay. To sit close to father in very faint memory of childhood, when he took my hands into his and stroked it with love, the longing I had felt as a child for such a touch flooded my inner being and tears welled up in my eyes. So, after all these years, she was longing for her father's love, all these years in her childhood. But he never showed her any kind of physical or emotional proximity, emotional closeness. He never held her closely. He never took her into his arms. So she was all the years throughout her childhood, she was expecting him to be more lovable, more caring, to touch her, to hold her, to take her into his arms. So after all these years, now as an old man, wants to touch her daughter, because now he is in dire need of love and affection, someone to take care. He needs someone to take care of him. But in spite of that, the daughter is very happy, and tears rolled her into her eyes, because she was remembering all those years, the longing for affection, the longing for love of her father. Now it is coming to her memory. She waited for this kind of touch all these years, and now she got it. Just because the father is ill and he wants his daughter to take care of him. Now he wants some assurance. Now he wants some help. He needs some help. The first time I visited him in his illness, I noticed bugs on the cart. I had picked up a couple of them and silently crushed them underfoot. So before this visit also, previously she had visited her father. But what happened, as he is a bedridden person, he is very old person, the cart is very not very neat and clean. So there are bed bugs in the cart. So when she sat on the bed, some bed bugs crept into her sari folds, and they were transported to her home. And her husband noticed the bugs in his bed. So what happened? Later my husband noticed a bug on our bed and had been upset. I told him it had been probably crept into my clothes when I had sat on my father's bed. As I was leaving that day to visit my father, my husband cautioned me not to sit on my father's bed, but to pull out a chair and sit a little away. So now it is her husband. He cautioned that you should not sit on the same cart with your father, because there are bed bugs and they may again creep into your clothes and they may come into our house. So don't take that chance. Take a chair. Don't sit on this cart. Take a chair and sit on the chair. Don't touch it. It was his instruction. But what happened? Now father wanted to feel the touch, the loving touch of his daughter. So now he wanted to sit her on the cart. So she sat on the cart. So remember how she was hesitant to sit comfortably on the cart. Though she loves her father, she is uncomfortable of the situation because her husband cautioned or instructed not to sit on the same cart with her father, because she might catch the bed bugs. So it was the dilemma. Okay, you see the dilemma now. It is about the touch. When the daughter wanted the loving touch of father, the father was very orthodox. He did not fulfill her wish. Now the father wants the loving touch of his daughter. But now what is happening? Her husband is standing in the in between the daughter and father, because she might catch bed bugs in her clothes. So you see the patriarchal ways in which this society works. Father had longed for the sons all his life, but now left with only his daughters. At the end of his life, he had lost his grown son and the perpetuator of his name. Perhaps it was destiny means. When my brother died, I had hesitated to face my father. Some unknown feeling of guilt had held me back. So now he is revealing another aspect of father's life. So there was also a son, the perpetuator, the descendant of his name, the perpetuator of his name, his family name. But he had died in maybe some accident or due to some health issue. It is not mentioned. Now she is only the child, boy or girl, man, daughter or son. Now she is the only child of that old father. When the brother died, she wanted to assure him, "Don't worry, I am here." She wanted to take him in his arms and wanted to reassure him that she will take care of him. But she was very hesitant, because I hesitated even to touch him. That's how I had been raised. So the orthodox way of raising, the orthodox way of parenting had has built a invisible wall between the daughter and the father. So even though she wanted to show her love, even though she wanted to show her affection, she is incapable of showing love and affection towards her father, though there is so much love inside her heart. After I chatted with him for a while, he asked me to clip his nails. Asking mother not to do would be useless. Okay. Her mother is also very old, so she clipped the nails of her father, and not that. Perhaps father was feeling depressed. He stroked my hand and said, "It would be so nice if you moved into the town. I could stay with you." I looked at him helplessly. So now father had a wish. What was the wish of the father? He wanted to stay with his daughter. He wanted someone to take care of him in his old age. So as the son is dead, now he wants his daughter to take care of him. He wants to go with his daughter so that she can take care of him. But what happened? I looked at him helplessly. Now you see, she is helpless, because though she wants to take care of his father, her husband would not accept this. He would not allow her father to come to his house. So because this is the tradition of Indian families, the daughter would not bring his father to her husband's or her house. Okay, it is not acceptable in Indian families. Okay, the father should always remain with his sons, not with his daughters. I could not reassure him with words either. Father didn't speak again, because maybe he understood what is the problem of him staying with his daughter, because people would not accept it. If an old man stays with his daughter, the society would not accept. As per the society, the old people should stay only with sons, not with daughters. At that moment of my education, and I was silent, and he stroked my head. At that moment, my education, my job, and everything else appeared vain and superficial. I sat for a while before leaving. So she is an educated woman with a good job, but everything was in vain, because after all these things, her education, her job, everything, she could not do according to her will. Actually, she wants to take care of his father by taking him to her house, but her in-laws and her husband would not approve of it. They will not allow her to take care of her father in her home. Okay, they only allow her to visit occasionally, maybe 1 or 2 hours in to 1 or 2 months. That too by sitting at a distance. So it would be very far fetched if we expect them to allow the daughter to take care of the father by taking father to her home. As I returned in the rickshaw, father's tender touch haunted me. Tears welled in my eyes and blurred my view of the road. So he asked a wish. He wanted her to take him to her house, but she could not say yes. After some time, she went away in a rickshaw, and she was crying because she could not do as she wishes. It is her will. It was her will. She was willing to take care of her father, but this time her husband would not accept it. Okay. So this is the story that I have read for you, and so very simple story. Okay. So let us go into some explanation of the story. What is this? The touch. Let me again. The story throws light on the issues surrounding the upbringing of a girl child in a predominantly patriarchal Indian society. So, what is the story about? It is a story of patriarchal society. What is patriarchy? The male dominant society. A society where male are dominant or women are subjugated, marginalized. The story throws light on the issues surrounding the upbringing of a girl child. How the girls are brought up in Indian families, patriarchal Indian traditional families. And it also raises issues like identity crisis, identity, individuality, and independence of women. So it is not about educated or uneducated. In this story here, the main protagonist or the woman or the daughter here she's an educated woman, and she had a job also. Though everything is modern, but she is unable to act according to her will or according to her wish. She has no identity of herself. Either she is someone's daughter or either she is someone's wife, and she is searching for identity, individuality. She has no individuality here. She has to take permission to visit her own father from the husband and her in-laws, and they give some instructions what to do after going to her father's home, where to sit, where not to sit, what to do, what not to do. So you see here the identity, there is no identity, there is no individuality. So the husband is not allowing her to have any identity or any individuality. She can exist as and only as his wife, nothing more than that. She is not allowed to have individuality, she is not allowed to have identity, and more than that, independence. She is not independent. There is no independence for her because she was allowed 1 or 2 hours visit to her own father's home, and she was told what to do, where to sit, how much time to spend. So these are told beforehand. She is going to visit her family. So she has no identity, no individuality, and she no independence. That means she was not allowed to have any of this. She was just considered as his wife, though she is educated and she is very much doing a job. The religious orthodoxy, Indian family structure, and traditional parenting methods are questioned through the story. So now, how is father? Father in the childhood. So father was very orthodox. You see, father was very orthodox. He would not touch even his daughters when he is in puja, when he is performing puja, when he is in madi. So children were very scared of their father. They would not go near him. They were scared. They were afraid to touch him. So there was always an invisible wall that was separating them from each other, father and children. So they could not express freely with each other. Maybe they loved each other, but they could not express the love. There was no means of showing love and affection. There was no means of touching, not even the means of communication of words. They would not talk, it seems, and touching was also almost prohibited in the family in the name of religion and orthodoxy and muddy worship and traditions. So that made a huge gap between father and daughter. The bridge that could not be the gap that could not be bridged even after so many years. And so, as you have listened to the story, what is the story about? The touch narrates an incident in the life of a married woman. Okay, life of a married woman. When she visits her old aged father who is seriously ill. Okay, she is, as you have read the story, as you listened to the story, this is the premise of the story. Okay, it is about 1 hour incident, maybe 1 or 2 hours incident, when the married daughter comes to visit her father. Her bedridden father is very happy to see her and asks her to sit by his side on the string cot when she attempts to sit on the chair beside him. So immediately after her arrival, her father wants to sit on the cot, but she is hesitant. She wanted to sit on the chair. So after deliberate attempts, she sat on the edge of the cot, not on the entire cot. She sat on the edge of the cot because she was hesitant. Because I told you, as in the story, her husband instructed her not to sit on the cot, because if she sits on the cot, the bed bugs of her father's bed will creep into her class and come with her to their home. So that would be a problem. So as per instructions, she was hesitant, but the father's love that she was longing all her life has made her sit on the cot at last. Her father holds her hand with affection and love to inquire her whereabouts. He feels secure and comfortable while holding her hand. Okay, now the importance of touch here. When she was a girl, when she was a young child, she wanted the assurance of her father, the touch in the form of touch. She wanted some kind of care, some kind of love, affection through the touch of her father, which was outright denied in the name of religious orthodoxy, in the name of muddy and traditions. She did not get the love and affection she needed. She was vulnerable in the childhood. She was vulnerable. She wanted some protection, some satisfaction, some comfort, but she did not get when she was a child. Now the tables have turned. Now who is vulnerable? The father is vulnerable, helpless, old. Now he wants himself to he wants to console himself in the touch of his daughter. He wants to hold her close to him. He wants to find peace and comfort through the touch. But for her it was very comforting moment, because all these years she was waiting for that kind of touch, that kind of love, that kind of unconditional love from her father. But this time around, she has some hesitations, she has some inhibitions, not because of her own will, or not because intentional, it was conditional, because she was instructed by her husband. Now she's as a child, as a girl, she was not independent. She was under the control of her father, and father would not allow her to touch him. Now she is under the control of her husband. Now she also doesn't want her to touch her father. So she's both the time she is being denied the love and affection of touch. Okay, she recalls how orthodox her father was in her childhood, how he would not let her near him, as he always performed pujas in muddy tradition. As a child, the daughter always longed for the affectionate touch of her father, but he was very strict in his parenting ways. As you know, as we discussed, he would not let her touch him, nor he would touch her. Now he is old age. Now he is helpless. Now he wants to console himself. He wants to comfort himself with the touch of his daughter. Now her heart is filled with love for her father, but she is hesitant to touch or sit near her father. Both the times, as a child and as a woman, as a married woman, her love for her father has not diminished. She always loved her father. As a child, she loved her father. She wanted to hug him. She wanted to touch him. He wanted her to take him into his arms. But during those childhood days, it was her father himself who would deny her of this comfort, this love, this care, this affection. Now what happened? Before her father's home, coming to her father's home, she was instructed by her husband not to sit near the father, as the bugs in his bed might creep into her clothes, and through the clothes they may enter his house. So this time, after in this old age, who is stopping her from touching her father, comforting her father? It is her husband. You see, the woman, she does not have any kind of say in her life. She cannot even express her love. When she wanted to love her, show her love towards her father, in her childhood it was father who denied it. Now she wants to show her love towards her father, but it is now her husband who is denying. The daughter remembers how fond her father was toward his son, the perpetuator of his family name. But the son is dead now. So now all he has is his daughter. So he wants to find comfort in her. When her brother died, she wanted to console and reassure father by taking him into his arms, but she was hesitant even to touch him. So that was kind of upbringing she was into. The orthodox parenting ways had never allowed physical proximity between the daughter and father, and physical or emotional proximity. There was no closeness between father and daughter. The bond was not very close. They were not very close emotionally or physically. There was always an invisible wall built between them. They were unable to show love towards each other. The father expresses his wish to stay with his daughter in her home now, at this old age. He wants his daughter to take care of him, but she is ready. She is ready to take care of him. In her heart is filled with love for her father, because after all these years, she is getting the love of her father that she longed for all these 20 or more years. At last, her father is showing some love and affection towards her. But though the helpless daughter wants to take him to her home, she does not respond to his wish, as her husband would not allow that. Now, what is the problem now? It is again one more male. It is her husband now. He will not allow that to happen. The person who would not tolerate one bed bug into his house, how could he tolerate one bedridden person into his house with full of bed bugs? Okay, she returns with heavy heart. She could not fill her, because she could not fill her a simple wish of her father. So this is the story, and there are these points of discussion there, as I told you in the beginning of the class. Identity and individuality of a woman. Okay, how they are crushed, how they are subjugated. Women is not treated as equal individual with men in the society. With all the education, all the earnings, and very good job, she had all these things, but she was not treated equal with husband. It is her husband who would call the shots at the home, who would interfere into her personal life, what to do, what not to do, where to sit, where not to sit, what to visit, whom not to visit. So even to visit her father, she has to take permission from her husband, her in-laws, for 1 or 2 hours, and she was as there in the story, she was not allowed to sit near him. Okay. So there are two stages of her life, as a child and as a wife. So in both the stages, who are the masters of her life? The male members of her family are the masters of her life. She is not independent. She does not have individuality of her own. She cannot think. Maybe she has her own thinking, but her way of thinking is not allowed. It is suppressed. It is their way of the way of thinking of male members of her family has always the right to express. So when she is a child, she had to listen to her father. Whatever she says, whatever her father says, she has to listen. She could not express her love towards her father when she was a child, because father was strict. It was not her fault at that time. Now when she is a married woman, still she loves her father. Now also she can't express her love towards her father because her husband would not allow. Okay, the emotions of a woman are not allowed to in the family. She has to suppress all the emotions. She has to listen to the male members of the family as a child or a woman. So the patriarchy. What is patriarchy? When she wanted to love and affection of her father in the childhood, it was her father himself who had denied it due to his orthodox belief. Okay. After the marriage of the daughter in his old age, the father needed the love and affection of his daughter. This time it is her husband who would not allow it. So it is not in her hand. Her fate, her life, anything, nothing is in her hands. It is in the hands of the male members of her family. So this is patriarchy. This is patriarchy. Though seemingly she is independent, she had a job, she had a salary, everything, but she had to listen to the words of the male members of her family. She has not the slightest right on her life or on any other's life of her family. So, though she is educated, she is still bound by the laws of patriarchy. The laws of patriarchy which deny even her expression of love and affection towards her own family members, father and mother. Okay, so this is the story. I hope you have learned something from this story, the themes and the subject, and there will be a 10 marks question coming from this lesson. Okay, if you watch the PowerPoint presentation completely, you can answer every question that will be given in the examination. Okay, thank you. I will meet you tomorrow.